Good morning. Welcome to the celebration of our graduating class of 2023, the 157th class to graduate from Noble and Greenough School. morning again. I am just thrilled to welcome you all here today to join us together in celebrating the great class of 2023. I'm pleased to introduce to you student co-presidents Nidhi Moore and Carter Bartel, our talented and inspiring student leaders who will welcome you to this very special day. Their leadership made such a positive difference this year as they rallied our community around special events and moments, and they led with tremendous kindness, humor, and humility. Thank you, Nidhi and Carter.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nidhi Moore.
And I'm Carter Bartel, and we've been the two co-presidents for this school year.
This morning, it is our pleasure to welcome Noble students, faculty and staff, trustees, family and friends, and especially the class of 2023, to our graduation. We are so excited to celebrate this wonderful class and the incredible memories that we've made here.
Recently, Nidhi and I realized that throughout our years here, we've each kept a shoebox that we filled with little mementos and reminders of some memorable moments at Nobles. The contents of these boxes range from letters to photos to positive COVID tests, and the list goes on.
We decided to go through them together, and we realized that we had a few similar items that are pretty representative of how much this place has meant to us. So now we're going to do some show and tell. My first item is a postcard I received this summer from Mr. Baker, my junior year English teacher, my advisor, and the wisest person I have ever been lucky enough to get to know. He wrote simply to check in and say hello, and of course make sure that I was doing reading over the summer and getting started on my college applications.
My first item is a letter of advice and encouragement from my Spanish teacher and cross-country coach, Mr. Ulrich, days before running the Boston Marathon. He told me to, quote, savor every step, and as he cheered me over the top of Heartbreak Hill in Newton, that's exactly what I did. These two letters go to show the incredible impact teachers have here at Nobles. The faculty are here for us, every step of the way. This class of 2023 especially has formed some incredible bonds with our teachers during our time here. On behalf of our class, we want to thank the people who make Nobles Nobles, the faculty and staff. Next up, I brought this playbill from our winter musical, Twelfth Night. From Will Grimes causing me to laugh out of my seat, to seeing people fight for front row spots, to hear Molly Hughes, Maddie Scher, and Gavin Swartz sing, even if it meant that they were in his spitting range. I was truly in awe.
I brought this pamphlet from the dance show this fall, where we got to see our classmates put on number after number of breathtaking performance. There aren't too many grades who come through this school who can confidently say that every single year since freshman year, they got to go to the show-stopping winter NTC musical production and see their classmates as the leads, but we can. The amount of talent in our grade is truly unreal. The class of 23 has such unbelievably impressive dancers, singers, actors, and musicians, and it shines through in every show, every concert, and our presence in assembly. We can confidently say that the stage will miss this group. Sorry. Next up, I brought this candle, which is a part of a tradition that the girls' soccer team does each year right here on this field. Finding a home on the soccer team and the JV hockey team has been one of the most fulfilling experiences I've ever had, for which I will always be grateful.
My next item, like my first, also has to do with running, but only sort of. These receipts mark my completion of a Nobles Boys cross-country tradition, the trifecta, which is eating a full meal from Panda Express, Chipotle, and Five Guys after our New England championships. When I look at these, I'll remember not only the first place trophy that we won that day, but the brothers and lessons that that team gave me. One of those lessons being, don't attempt the trifecta. Aside from the countless undefeated seasons, ISL championships, shout out the lacrosse teams for this spring, New England championships, shout out the girls crew team for this spring, that our class has played a part in winning, sports at Nobles have been so much more for all of us. The positive, supportive culture that has been fostered across all teams here has created so many different families, many of which will stay connected for life. A testament to this is the amount of alumni that return to campus each year to watch their old teams play. Except they're not really watching their old teams. It's still their team, and they're just back to watch the legacy continue to grow. When people look up at the rafters in the gym and look at the year 2022-23, they won't just remember Eliza Teplow or Brooke Manning being named ISL MVP, or Grayson McClemens breaking this ISL single-season point record. They'll remember how they did it, with grace, with grit, and with each other.
Sorry. Okay, well, I don't know where it is right now, but I brought my name tag from the first day of school this year. I have vivid memories of the first day of school every year when we get here each September and everyone's talking and laughing and hugging, sharing stories about our summer and catching up. Even thinking about it now, on the last day of school, I can still feel that first day feeling of butterflies in my stomach and pure, genuine excitement to be with my people. Since then, we've had a lot of fun. We've welcomed younger classes onto the beach, even if that did make for countless broken spike ball nets. We've had our fair share of unhinged assembly moments. We've tested the limits of what counts as a senior project. And we've left behind a legacy that won't soon be forgotten. How lucky are we to have gotten to come to school every day, surrounded by people who are, in a word, just awesome.
My final item, which is here, is my name tag from my first day of school, but my freshman year. Back then, I wasn't really sure why I kept it, but I somehow knew that this was going to be a place that I wanted to remember in every way possible. Now, standing here today, I'm grateful for these little memories because they will continue to bring to life the 4 most amazing years with all of you.
Nobles class of 2023, it's been an honor and a privilege. Thank you guys for everything. Congratulations on getting here and soak up the last hour or so of being Nobles students. Thank you.
Thank you, Nadine Carter, and you can see why they're such outstanding leaders of the school. I'm Kathy Hall, the head of school at Nobles, and before I begin, I want to state the obvious, which is it is just a little bit hot in here. Please feel welcome. There's water all around the space, and I know on a normal thing you'd think it would be rude to get up during presentation, but if you're not feeling well or you need assistance, need something to drink, please, please do it. Hopefully we'll keep you not thinking of the heat, but thinking about our great ceremony ahead. Last night, we honored some of our Class 1 students at our awards ceremony. I'd like to take a moment here to recognize those who received an award last night. Please stand when your name is called and remain standing. Please hold your applause until the end. The Alumni Prize for Excellence in History to Helen Quay. The GL Bridge Award for Excellence in Ceramics, Larkin Gifford. The Shalito Cup for Excellence in Photography, Emily Bow. The Scudder Medal for Excellence in Fine Arts, Helen Quay. The Bramhall Bridge Art Purchase Prize to Nathan Wilderman, Caroline Hody, Elise Ruppel, Amy Baez, Megan Fuqua, Una Lundgren-Lahav, and Tom Smee. The Sheldon Prize for Excellence in Science to Ava Coker. The Epps Sargent Dixwell Medal for Excellence in Latin to Alexander Lee and Maddie Wee. The Computer Science Prize to Kyle Morristein. The Little Memorial Essay for Creative Writing to Amy Baez. The Little Memorial Essay for Literary Analysis to Yi Chen Ding. The Wiswell Prize for Excellence in English to Madeline Lee. The Volkmann Medal for Excellence in Modern Language to Minnie Xu. The Volkmann Medal for Excellence in French to Madeline Lee. The Volkmann Medal for Excellence in Spanish to Molly Hughes. The Sidney L. Eaton Prize for Excellence in Theater to Octavia Rior and Christopher Tillin. The Peter Kearns and William Warren 77 Prize for Excellence in Technical Theater to Larkin Gifford and Jackie Zhang. The Nathaniel C. Nash 69 Award for Journalism to Arnav Harvey. The Reginald Davidson Music Prize to Molly Hughes, Dorothy Zhang, and Emily Zhang. The Dance Prize to Maddie Scher and Ava Neal. The Edward L. Bond Prize for Academic Improvement to Chineye Odenigbo and Will Doyle. The Trustees Prize for Scholarship to Nathan Wilderman and Ava Coker. The Bradley D. Nash 1919 Medal for Executive Ability to Nidhi Moore. The ISL Excellence Award to Claire O'Connor and Tommy Schwartz. The Davis Cup for Sportsmanship to Sophie Majernik, Owen Myers, and Tom Smee. The Noble Shield for Most Respected Student Athletes to Matt Tully and Fiona O'Keefe. The Public Speaking Award to Octavia Rior. The James M. Ritvo 64 Award to the A2A Board, which includes Katie Chung, Alexander Lee, Akash Menon, and Om Pai Thanker. Also, it went to Widmeyer Trantheon. Russell B. Stearns Achievement Award to Amy Baez and Naniele Quiroz. The Michelle Dufault 07 Award to Katie Chung. The Class of '98 Award was just awarded a few minutes ago in Assembly to Ava Neal and Harrison Dolgoff. The Garrett Smith Miller Medal to Carter Bartell. The Edward Stone Gleason Award for Academic Excellence to Chris Tillin and Minnie Xu. And the Head of School Prizes to Tommy Schwartz and Lindsay Saunders. Please join me in giving these outstanding students a round of applause. So the class of 2023 has a very special place in my heart. As we started our journey at Nobles together in the fall of 2017, I can remember walking down the Castle Hill behind us, following a great class of 60s down to the MAC for my installation. As an aside, my daughter Evelyn, who was only 6 at the time, kept referring to my installation as my funeral. A number of times I say, no, installation, not my funeral. We are reminded way too often about what has changed and what's been lost since that installation day in the fall of 2017. It's all too present in our minds, our news feeds, and our daily lives. First, our world feels so much more fragile today. With several years of rapid changes, cancellations, and repeated curveballs, life today feels less certain and predictable. While we're grateful for the return to so much normal over the last year, there remains a feeling of fragility that challenges our confidence in well-being and our future. Second, our world feels so much less equitable today. The impact of our many global crises has disproportionately impacted those most vulnerable and those who have the fewest resources and control over their lives. One of the places inequities have deepened acutely is our nation's schools. As a lifetime educator, it's heartbreaking to witness what has happened in the last few years to our students who are most at risk and most in need of education as a path to a better future. For many decades, we have worked hard to foster greater equity and inclusion in our schools to promote belonging for all, not some at the expense of or instead of others, but everyone. We're now witnessing inequities building on top of each other and silos and barriers being raised that are only creating division and eroding the culture of inclusion we've worked so hard to forge. Third, the world feels so much less kind today. We seem to have lost the art of giving people the benefit of the doubt, of waiting to learn more about others' ideas before concluding and reacting, or of seeking to understand a differing view with the goal of trying to deepen our ideas. Undoubtedly, a big part of the problem is the increasingly anonymous world in which we live, where conversations with neighbors are replaced with social media posts attacking strangers or anonymous petitions. This, coupled with the uncertainties, worries, and fears that persist, leads many seeking answers for the struggles they are facing to look for someone to hold responsible. It must be somebody's fault, right? The result is a world more focused on vindication than understanding, one too preoccupied with what we've gained or lost as individuals than what we can do to make a positive difference in our communities. Our world today is decidedly less kind than it was 6 years ago, and as a result, our world is really hurting. Okay, so this is a bleak opening to my talk, and those who know me will guess correctly that as an inherent optimist, I will choose to look towards solutions and towards our students to find them. Yes, a good deal has changed in our world in worrisome ways since we started together at Nobles in 2017. And the challenges we are facing as a region, country, and world are acute. But so much, however, has also not changed in 6 years, particularly at Nobles. In fact, some things have actually become clearer and strengthened amidst the storm around us. The challenging landscape of the last several years has given us the gift of seeing with great clarity and confidence what our load-bearing beams are at Nobles, those core pillars of any structure that keep it standing upright. As we've gratefully returned to so much of the normal we missed over the last 2 years, we've also taken this important window to reaffirm the load-bearing beams that keep our Nobles roof securely over our heads. First, we know that mentoring relationships sit at the center of what we do. We often use the phrase relationship before task to capture what is a vital and unique part of the Nobles experience. We know that our students can't be their best selves or do their best work if they do not feel known and seen by faculty who invest in their success in classrooms, on fields, and on stages. The days of virtual Nobles strongly challenge the connections that foster those mentoring relationships. We felt the impact of its loss and the boost of its return. Second, we celebrate the power of an inclusive Nobles community and of the shared experiences that forge powerful bonds and lasting memories. Our time as a full school community each morning in assembly is our most visible statement of this commitment to the Nobles community, where the talent and inspiration of the talk or performance on stage are matched by the humility, laughter, and applause that undergirds our time together. Returning to our beloved Lawrence Auditorium last year rendered this just so clear. Third, we know that as a school, fostering intellectual curiosity and challenging our students with demanding scholarship sit as a cornerstone of what we do well. We push our students to pursue broad excellence and to explore diverse interests, where trial and error are integral to a growth mindset, and where we ensure our students know that their integrity is more important than their academic outcomes. Finally, we ultimately hope our graduates go on to make a positive difference in the lives of others, whether they are at a podium or behind the scenes, whether they can help one person or an entire city. We hope our graduates seek opportunities to help others with their talent, resources, empathy, and kindness. Our Excel program is perhaps our most visible commitment to this principle. We've felt the loss of these experiences for several years and are now buoyed by the full return of our Excel trips this spring. As much as the world has changed in worrisome ways since we started here together in 2017, our load-bearing beams at Nobles have only grown clearer and are only more strongly rooted as they hold up our Nobles roof. As I reflect on what has changed and strengthened, I'm also reflecting on what I hope these next 6 years ahead will bring for each of you. First, I hope you will help our world be and feel less fragile. Now, please don't take this the wrong way, but I actually hope you each fail, like a lot. Now, I know that may not be the encouraging words you hope to hear from your optimistic and caring head of school, so let me explain. Of course, I wish great success for each of you and whatever path life takes you. But I'm confident you will find greater success and, more importantly, greater happiness in the life if you also experience some moments of struggle and failure along the way. Amidst all of our mounting worries about the mental health crisis adolescents are facing, it's easy to subscribe to the belief that well-being is found in bubble wrapping each of you to ensure you avoid struggle and failure at all costs. I count myself at the front of the line of those worried about your mental health, and I also firmly believe that experiencing and successfully working through struggle and sometimes failure is actually key to your long-term well-being. A life filled with talent, aspiration, passion, and healthy risk-taking means it's not a question of if, but when you will face adversity and, inevitably, failure. I hope your time at Nobles has included plenty of moments of what I call safe failure, where the stakes are not as high, even if the emotions are. It is in these moments we strive to help you discover the tools and resources to not only navigate those challenging moments, but to learn from them and gain the confidence that you can and will be more than okay the next time you face a similar challenge. Yes, the world is uncertain and the future will throw you tons of curveballs. I also hope your Nobles education affords you the skills and confidence to reject the fragility it assumes you have to embrace your inner fearlessness. Quite simply, you've got this. Second, I hope you counter a world that is increasingly inequitable and divided. I hope 6 years from now, you remain connected to your classmates, your faculty, and your Nobles community, and that you've made strides to build new connections and deepen your new communities along your journey. While you likely realize today the power of the relationships you have forged in your years at Nobles, I hope you recognize how enduring those relationships are in the years to come, how your Nobles friends and faculty will be the ones you call upon the most in good times and in moments of struggle. I also hope relationship before task is a mantra you take from your time at Nobles as you strive to make a difference in the lives of others in ways that tear down divisions and foster inclusion. Lastly, I hope in your next 6 years you've done what you can to bring kindness back into our world. It is, of course, simultaneously both the simplest and hardest thing to do. I'll start with the hard part, which is the world I know all too well you're facing in your daily lives. You're simply surrounded by a mountain of meanness. Meanness that strives to attack and tear down, that labels and judges, that anonymously comments, and that ultimately causes just so much hurt. How on earth can a student just graduating high school make a dent in that mountain? So this gets to the simple part, because you can. The simple part of kindness is how much agency you have to make a difference each and every day. With just one word or one small act, you begin to move that mountain. That small word or action matters more than you will ever see or know to those who are on the receiving end, and whether that's a friend, a neighbor, or a stranger. It also leads to a multiplying effect you'll never see, but you have to believe you created. Trust that even the smallest acts of kindness can ultimately make a powerful difference in the world. In thinking about this great class of 2023 and the 6-year journey we've had together at Nobles, I looked back at the remarks I shared that fall day in 2017 at my installation as we walked together down the Castle Road as only the 7th head at Nobles in over 150 years. I spoke that day about 3 principles that guide my life and I hope to guide yours: honesty, hard work, and yes, kindness. I said then what I will say now as I close: if in doubt, be kind. Thank you. Next, we will hear a beautiful rendition of our school song, Noble and Strong, by the First Class Ensemble. Thank you so much for that. And now I have the privilege of presenting this year's Vernon L. Green Award for Faculty Excellence. This award was established in 1982 by David Arnold of the class of 1940 in honor of Vernon Green, who for many years and many people embodied faculty excellence. The award is presented annually to a member of the faculty who encourages and nurtures academic excellence within the school, whose pedagogy is distinguished, and whose commitment to students is thorough. I am truly honored to present the 2023 Vernon L. Green Award for Faculty Excellence to Sue Chameleon. Sue Chameleon joined Nobles in 2006 and immediately immersed herself in her teaching, coaching, and advising. She's an outstanding math teacher, one who finds the right balance of challenge, pacing, humor, and support, whether she's teaching Algebra 1 or multivariable calculus. One of the skills that makes Ms. Chameleon such an effective teacher is her ability to teach a deep understanding of math and to demystify what can often feel daunting to a student. Karen Gallagher notes, quote, "While math has a reputation for being intimidating and individualized, Ms. Chameleon has a way of making it accessible and collaborative across all levels in our math curriculum. Under her guidance, students know how to work confidently and collaboratively to tackle the most challenging problems," end quote. Key to her success in the classroom is how well she teaches a deep understanding of math, going well beyond the right answer and calculations to a nuanced ability for her students to discuss and explain what sits behind the answers. Nick Nickerson observes, quote, "Ms. Chameleon views math as a means of communicating ideas. It's not enough to sit quietly in the corner of her classroom and simply do mathematics. She encourages her students to actively discuss mathematics, to share ideas, approaches, and strategies with each other. She makes her students defend their answers and question the work of others. In her classroom, the solution is the least interesting part of the problem," end quote. Ms. Chameleon is also a strong champion for her students, both for those for whom math comes easily and those who need the most support to find success. She is simply tireless in her work to help her students in their pursuit of deep and authentic understanding, and ultimately, success and confidence as learners. I witness this empathy and care firsthand regularly, whether it's when she stops by to discuss one of my advisees she has in class, or when I hear from a colleague or parent what a difference she's made in a child's life. Ms. Chameleon epitomizes the mantra of relationship before task and sees in her role as an educator the opportunity and privilege to make a meaningful difference in the lives of our students. Ms. Gallagher captures this well in sharing, quote, "Her goals in a class period reach far beyond the mastering of math mechanics or good graphing techniques. She weaves connectedness and community building with purpose. In this way, she lives out the Nobles' mission in her teaching like few can. She can have her students thinking deeply and laughing heartily all at one time. With passion, Ms. Chameleon fosters a vibrant intellectual community that values humility and humor, and she encourages students to do the same," end quote. Sue Chameleon stepped in as the chair of the math department in 2010 and has been a wise and steady leader who has shown a unique ability to support her colleagues, promote the continued improvement of our program, and navigate many unexpected challenges, all with the same grace, humor, wisdom, and calm. Science Department Chair Jen Kraft reflects, quote, "As chair of the math department for many years, she's encountered her fair share of challenges. Steady, grounded, empathic, and ready to help, Ms. Chameleon reliably meets the moment, all in the service of her colleagues. Her unique voice among academic department chairs has been invaluable." English Department Chair Jess Brennan adds, quote, "Ms. Chameleon infuses all that she does with integrity, creativity, and just the right amount of mischievous humor. She's a brilliant problem solver who quickly and confidently identifies what's most important and stays focused on that priority until she reaches a resolution," end quote. Ms. Chameleon's humor, humility, and kindness make her colleagues others often seek out for support, a boost in their day, or a needed laugh. Dean of Faculty Maura Sullivan shares, Ms. Chameleon is one of those people who takes her work seriously without taking herself too seriously. She knows how to find humor in any situation. No one makes me laugh harder. Sue Chameleon is one of those people you feel better about your day for having had the gift of bumping into her, and better about your craft as an educator for having had the privilege to work alongside her. I certainly feel that way. It's my true honor to present this year's Vernon Green Award to Sue Chameleon. Every spring, Class 1 students elect a faculty graduation speaker, someone who has made a unique impact on their Nobles experience and whose wisdom and guidance they seek on this very special and important day. This year's selection, Gia Batty, is a fantastic choice, as so many in this class have benefited from her excellence in teaching, advising, and academic support. I very much look forward to hearing Ms. Batty's remarks today.
I want to welcome everyone here to our celebration of this amazing class. To the families and friends of the graduates, to all my people from the Nobles community, and a special shout out to the handful of 2020 grads who are with us today to see their siblings and friends graduate. I'm so glad you're all here. My name is Gia Batty, but around here, I go by Miss Batty. I'm a teacher, and I love my job so much. A funny thing happens when I tell people what I do, when I say that I'm a high school English teacher. A brief discussion ensues about The Great Gatsby or Toni Morrison, my opinion on the Oxford comma, or why we don't teach cursive anymore. And then we launch into what I like to call favorite teacher time. People love talking about their favorite teachers, and I love hearing about them. Teachers are some of the most important people in one's life. And I bet if I asked all of you guys to tell me about your favorite teachers, more than anything else, you would talk about how they made you feel, how your favorite teacher noticed you, challenged you, made you realize you weren't bad at math, how they made you excited to come to class, or recognize that you were actually a pretty good writer. Favorite teachers are the best. What if we could harness some of that favorite teacher energy and use it outside the classroom, beyond our campus? I think you can all be teachers. You can make people feel the way that your favorite teacher made you feel. In the next few years, you will have opportunities to be leaders and mentors. You will be the captain of your hockey team. You will tutor in the Writing Center. You'll train someone at work. You'll be an RA, a TA, or in charge of some important group project. And beyond college, you will start companies, direct a show, have your own lab, open a restaurant. You'll found a nonprofit, be an attending physician. You'll be a parent. You will find yourself in a place where, because of your knowledge and experience, you will be in charge. You'll need to get people to trust you, to work together, to take on challenges. In other words, you will be a teacher. You will all be teachers. I mean that symbolically, of course, but I mean it. You can all be teachers in whatever you choose to do, and pay forward what your teachers have given you. I've been teaching a long time, more than half my life, and I've had the privilege to work with and learn from some incredible teachers, some of your favorite teachers. There's a little bit of magic in it, and I can't give away all of our secrets in this speech, but I can share 2 pro tips for being a good teacher, which will help you to be a good leader and a good human. The first is to prioritize relationships. Get to know people and let them know you. This is the true work of teaching. Don't get me wrong, I love the books, and I love helping you make your writing sparkle. But without a good relationship, without knowing each other, you're not going to buy in, or revise your essay for the second time, or want to share your interesting thoughts in my class. At its heart, teaching is about building relationships. And over the last few years, and in so many ways, I've loved getting to know you guys. To start, I taught so many of you. As sophomores, when we tried to have class under a tent like this, and I taught a bunch of you again, and some of you for the first time in my senior electives. I read your college essays this fall, and for a few of you, our initial introduction was the story you were trying to tell, whether that was about your time as a youth baseball umpire, or how to properly pronounce your first name. I traveled with 10 of you to a far-flung island in the Bahamas on an Excel trip and looked in awe with you at a starry sky that could have been a screensaver. I saw one of you every day in the castle, and you told me you liked my outfit. 2 of you threw me a surprise Gatsby-themed 50th birthday party this fall. I have asked you countless questions of the day, noticed dozens of new haircuts, new smiles without braces, new white sneakers, and you've asked me about my eye problems, how I felt about Bruno's mustache, and most recently, how this speech was coming along. Putting relationships first not only makes everything easier, it makes it better. This is teaching. This is also how to lead. Take the time to get to know people and let them know you. Pro tip number 2. A big part of teaching is actually learning. When I was your age, and I know you love when we start stories like that, but when I was your age, I knew exactly what I wanted to be when I grew up. I wanted to be an English teacher. I went to school for it. And those first few years when I was in the front of a classroom, I thought I had so much to teach my students. I had so many tools in my toolbox. But what I started to realize was that I didn't actually know everything, and that I could learn a lot from my students and colleagues. As a teacher and as a leader, you need to be open to learning from people. You need to understand that as much as you think you have to teach people, you have just as much to learn. Some important lessons I've learned from you. You taught me what no cap means. That gaining trust is sometimes glacial, and you can't give up on people too quickly. You taught me that BoJack Horseman is a show worth watching. You taught me how to be a good mom, and what 3-starring in Clash of Clans means. You taught me how to make my Google Slides look cool, and you taught me that teenagers are so much kinder than the world makes you out to be. You've taught me over and over again that I'm doing the right thing in the right place. Remember that you don't know everything. You never will, and you can always learn something from the people around you. These 2 pro tips, prioritizing relationships and being open to learning from others, will make your job, whatever it is, more enjoyable, and will make the people you're working with want to work with you, want to do what you're asking them to do, because you will be a teacher. Teaching is such a lesson in humanity. What you put into it, you get back in abundance. When I meet your parents and grandparents, they'll sometimes say, "Oh, you're so passionate and enthusiastic. No wonder you're a teacher." But the truth is that I'm passionate and enthusiastic because I'm a teacher, because of you. To close, I want to talk about time, about a teacher's heightened sense of time. Teachers are always looking at the clock and at the calendar. We need to know when to pause the video so we have enough time to talk about it, and how many days it might take to cover a topic. We know how fast the first quarter zooms by, And the time warp that happens between the week after spring break and then all of a sudden being right here under this tent on graduation day. These 4 years, these 6 years for some of you, have probably gone by in a flash. 1 minute, you're putting your phone in jail, and the next, you're taking pictures in your flower crowns. I'm sure that some of you wanted to slow things down to make high school last a little bit longer, and others wished there was a fast forward button on the Nobles app. But we're all right here, right now, so let's enjoy this together. As a teacher, I already know it'll be over in 2 snaps. It was an honor to be your speaker. I'm so proud of all of you, and I want you to be the best teachers you can be. Thank you.
Thank you, Gia. That was absolutely wonderful. Each year, the graduating class also elects 2 student speakers who can represent the sentiments of the overall class and whose leadership and character have represented the class of 2023 proudly. This year, those speakers are Will Grimes and Brooke Manning. I very much look forward to hearing each of their remarks today. We will hear first from Will, followed by Brooke.
Sorry. It is really hot. Wow. Shout out to everyone who's wearing a blazer right now. There's murder out in the stands. Anyway, hello everyone. My name is Will Grimes, and I'm so thankful to be here today on behalf of the class of 2023. I really am honored to have the chance to share the stage with so many wonderful people. I want to start by thanking some of the people who have helped me along the way. And yes, only thank some, because Mr. Denning said 6 straight minutes of thank yous, while nice, won't leave much time for anything else. In truth, I have 6 hours of thank yous to give. So I'll just start with a few and try to get the rest done later. To my parents, thank you for always being there. I love you, and I'm forever grateful for all of your support. Isabel, my sister, you somehow managed to be both the strangest person I know and the best advice giver. You've been my playmate since day one, and I love you. To my teachers, thank you for being lenient with my late assignments and for caring enough about me to really push me. To my classmates, and especially my friends, you are a special group of people. And this speech is meant for you. I want to tell you 3 stories from my time here at Nobles, and then tell you what the phrase noblesse oblige means to me. When I first came to Nobles, I never would have expected to be here on this stage. That may sound like a bit of humility, but as a rising 9th grader, I was, in the words of Zach Myers, the weirdest kid he'd ever met. It's generally not the type of kid you want speaking at your graduation. But the votes are in. Here we are. But I was very shy. I would sit in the alcoves on my phone, waiting for someone to come and talk to me. I remember one day when all my friends had a different free than me. And when I went down to lunch, I didn't know a single person there. I was faced with the difficult decision of where to sit, and I ended up sitting by myself. I must have looked pretty ridiculous, sitting all on my own in the middle of a huge table in Newcastle that could have sat 12. What I did not expect is for a random junior I'd only briefly seen in Chamber Singers to come and eat with me. And when Cam Bina sat across from me, I stood up, assuming that he wanted the table for his friends. But he didn't. He seemed to really want to sit with me. We talked for his entire free period about Nobles and what singing groups were like. I could not believe it. I couldn't understand why he did that, but looking back, I don't think he thought much of it. It was just another lunch for him. But in sitting with me, he made me feel truly seen for the first time at Nobles. The fact that I still remember that experience speaks to the impact that one small instance of kindness can have on another person's life. Second story. At the start of my junior year, I was placed into English class with Mr. Baker. I, like everyone else, had heard the stories. He had a reputation. His daily reading quizzes struck fear into the hearts of students across the upper school. The term Baker paper had become synonymous with free periods spent fretting in the quiet room. Mr. Baker did not disappoint. The class was really hard, and there were lots of papers and quizzes. Comments on my papers ranged from, "You have the soul of a philosopher," to, "I'll write this one off, Will." But the thing that I most noticed about his class was not the workload, but Mr. Baker's love of teaching. It was in everything. The way he moved around the classroom, the way he would randomly start screaming in the middle of classes, the enthusiasm in his stories. And this love seeped into everyone over the course of the year. The most reserved participants started to raise their hands and laugh in their answers. Most willing participants stopped caring about being right and instead just wanted to move the discussion along. Baker will tell you that he does very little in a class. And that's true only in the most literal sense that our classes consist of minimally regulated student discussion. But he brings an infectious enthusiasm for learning that is undeniable and that allows those discussions to happen. If you ask Mr. Baker why he teaches, he'd tell you that his motivation is purely selfish, that he likes teaching for how it makes him feel. And I believe him. To Mr. Baker, it is a joy to serve others, and that joy is what motivated him to lead a life of service. And that's not to say I think he's only helping himself. He isn't. It's just that the joy in learning he's brought to students has been at least matched by his own love for the classroom. That joy is the single most important thing I took from his class. And it is that joy that made me question the nature of service and how in helping others, one can find their own joy. Story 3. In the spring of my freshman year, I tutored a third grader named Marvin twice a week. I'll be honest. I was trying to find the easiest way of getting community service hours, and I somehow thought teaching math to hyperactive third graders was the way to do it. Clearly, I did not think very hard. But Marvin was shy, painfully shy. Like I couldn't get a word out of him for our entire first session. He wasn't a big fan of virtual school and often would miss his other classes. When I asked him what he liked, I expected something like Call of Duty or G.I. Joe or something having to do with explosions. Instead, he sheepishly answered, volcanoes. Volcanoes. All right. From that point on, everything we did was volcano-based. I gave him PBS articles about cones and pyroclastic flow. I wrote mathematical word problems about volcanoes and showed videos about the ring of fire and tectonic plates. He was so excited to learn about volcanoes that he always made sure to complete his other assignments so that they wouldn't eat into our time together. And he started showing up to his other classes more regularly. I loved teaching Marvin. He was hilarious and had a big toothless grin that he'd flash when he got a problem right. While I hope he learned reading and math from me, I learned from him how much I love teaching. That was a kind of service that felt deeply mutual. And I sometimes wonder if an experience like mine with Marvin was what pushed someone like Baker into a life of service. I tell these 3 stories for 2 reasons. First, to illustrate how much Nobles has given me. I have changed immeasurably over the course of my time here, and it is in no small part because of the incredible people surrounding me every day. Second, to show the importance of service to others. Cam didn't have to come sit with me. Mr. Baker didn't have to become a teacher in the first place. Marvin didn't have to show up to our meetings. But they did. And they've all impacted my life more than any one of them probably knows. My speech is entitled Noblesse oblige, which means nobility obliges in French. It was used by people of noble ancestry to explain an unstated obligation to improve the lives of those less fortunate than themselves. While this term is now recognized as a term of condescension toward the less resourced, I believe we shouldn't abandon it entirely, as it has the potential for enormous power in our own lives. To the class of 23, think of a person who has helped you. I guarantee that multiple people just popped into your head, some teachers, some coaches and directors, and probably many classmates. And I'm sure that if you asked those people whether you had helped them, They would say yes. Each one of you has been helped, but also has helped others at this school. I say this to stress that noblesse oblige is most of all a way of life, and it is one that both demands and builds reciprocity. In choosing to be kind, you not only build joy for service in yourself, but also in others. With practice, each day you can choose to be kind and to help others, as Cambina did with me. Service and an obligation to serve sounds like a drag, like it's something we have to suck it up and deal with. As you can learn from Mr. Baker and my experience with Marvin, it is a joy to serve others. We've all been given so much, and that we've had the opportunity to spend our last 4 years here, and to be surrounded by the incredible people who have dedicated their lives to this place. So I ask all of you to hold on to those gifts and to give them to others. Find something that you love and find some way to spread it. As the noblesse, the Nobles class of 2023, it shouldn't just be our obligation, but our pleasure to serve others and to be kind. I know that each and every one of you can do it. Thank you again, and happy graduation.
Sorry, folks, technical difficulties. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to start by thanking my classmates for giving me the opportunity to speak with you today. I'd also like to thank my parents for the constant sacrifices they have made over the years to send me to Nobles, and to my big sister, Paige, for being the best role model I could ask for. When I was 8 years old, my dad came home from work and surprised Paige and me with our first dog. I say dog because she was not a puppy. She was a 2.5-year-old rescued English bulldog who I couldn't wait to spend lazy days on the couch with. "This is Moxie," he said, while she immediately lay down and rolled herself over for the first belly rub of thousands that I'd give her in the coming years. Moxie was a word that I'd never heard before, so it felt weird to use it as a name for my pet. The dictionary defines Moxie as a person with energy, pep, courage, and determination, so it felt odd for this bulldog, who seemed to have no interest in doing anything other than sleep all day, to have a name with such character. The first day I got dropped off at the bus stop, I made it home in record time to Moxie waiting for me at the door, and when I opened it, she bolted straight through my legs and nearly sent me falling down my steps. We developed an unusual routine that was far from those lazy couch days I'd imagined, and almost every day for years, the cycle would repeat itself. She'd take off out the front door, cross over into my neighbor's yard, and go between a tiny missing fence pane that I still have no idea how she could get her lump-shaped body through. But she would end up in someone's front yard on Carswell Street in Marshfield, a very busy main road in my town. Now, this may not make me sound great, and I'm embarrassed to admit that she could in fact outrun me. In my defense, every time she took off, it took about a minute for me to process the fact that a 60-pound English bulldog was sprinting full force through my legs. There was never time for me to grab her leash, so I'd just chase after her time and time again. Once I finally wrangled her, I'd have to pick her up, waddle for 5 to 10 steps, put her back down, catch my breath, and repeat the process. But every once in a while, I'd hear my name be called out from a car that had pulled over, and someone I knew would offer me and Moxie a ride back to my house. This generous and kind gesture would cost me blood, sweat, and literally sometimes tears. I have a lot of pride in growing up in Marshfield. The community I am a part of and the relationships I have fostered have helped make me the person I am today. If it weren't for Coach Tom Rezor, I wouldn't know Nobles existed. And so coming to an entirely new place, filled with new people, who were very different from me, seemed scary. And to be honest with you, it was. I don't think I went into Mr. Bryant's freshman year HHC class having much moxie, because the first time I got shamed for saying like or my face definitely turned beet red. or the first time I handed in an annotated bibliography that I thought I nailed, only to find out I got a 9 out of 15. That was certainly scary too. Walking into the Omni for hockey tryouts alongside girls who were much older and more experienced than I was scary, but every shot that missed the net and test that didn't go exactly how I planned helped shape the person I am today. We've all grown over the past 4 years. Each one of us has walked into a new, scary place, whether it be a class, a tryout, an audition, the assembly stage. But it wasn't one test, or one assembly performance, or one specific moment that shaped who we've become as a whole, but the accumulation of all the wins and losses that have occurred in our everyday lives. The seemingly small decisions, or small courageous acts, are what shape a person, and one of the things that Noble students lack is the ability to live in the moment and refrain from thinking that every loss will deter you from your goals. If it's not going to matter in 5 years, don't worry about it for longer than 5 minutes. And try to equip yourself with the mindset that not every failure matters as much as you think it does. What does matter is how you react and what you do after said failure, because that is what shapes your character. Whether the win is as big as being brave enough to give a NED talk about your identity or background, or as small as signing up to take AP Euro, there's a community of people at Nobles ready to cheer you on. And if you took AP Euro and survived that class longer than a month, you made it further than I did, and that is something to be celebrated. Even in my toughest times at Nobles, I had a whole crew of people behind me ready to provide support, just like when I was hobbling down the road carrying Moxie in my arms and someone would offer us a ride. If you told me freshman year that I'd have enough courage to get up on stage and kiss Brian Grant in front of the whole school to promote the Campuses Against Cancer Rose Sale, I'd tell you were crazy. But over the course of my 4 years, the brave examples of the people that stepped on stage before me helped me chase the energetic and courageous person who stands on stage before you today. Whether I knew it or not, I've been chasing Moxie my whole life. We all have. But we haven't been chasing the lumpy furball who goes from 0 to 60 in 5 seconds. We've been chasing the people we want to be 5, 10, even 20 years from now. Had I not come to Nobles and enveloped myself in all the school has to offer, I would not be the person I am today. After this, the class of 2023 is going to go our separate ways to newer, bigger, scarier places. If you're nervous, that's okay, because I'm nervous too. But going to a school like Nobles has helped me chase my Moxie. And if you haven't gotten there yet, that's all right. Because what I've learned is that no matter where you're going, there will be plenty of people along the way to offer you a ride. Thank you, and congratulations to the class of 2023.
Thank you, Will and Brooke. Those were fantastic remarks. Next, we're going to hear a beautiful rendition of the song Climb Every Mountain by the First Class Ensemble. That was just beautiful, and you get a sense of just how incredibly talented this class is musically. They've been such a privilege to listen to over the last many years. And now I have the privilege, along with Dean of Student Engagement Mark Spence, of awarding the members of this great class of 2023 their diplomas. After receiving their diplomas, graduates will be congratulated by President of the Board of Trustees, John Montgomery, Noble's class of 1983, as they also return to their seats.
Michael Peter Alpers. Amy Larissa Baez. Emily Bao. Trevor William Barry. Carter Scott Bartell. Campbell Lee Bates. Bruno James Batty. William Hamilton Brophy. Andrew Justin Cashman. Tyler Justin Cashman. Caroline Jo Cerruti. Katie Yuklang Chung. Ryan Jared Collins. Cameron U. Cowperthwaite. Helen Hongier Quay. Michael Joseph Cullerlane. Darvensky Winchell Daniel. Hakeem Emmanuel Daphnis. Dagan Joe Darnell. Yichen Ding. Harrison Kale Dolgoff. William David Doyle. Joseph Anthony Duggan. Nina Marissa Falkson. Lucas Lutzman Fernando. Christian Sebastian Figueroa. William Parker Fine. Megan Rayner Fuqua. Elizabeth Steele Gardner. Mark Philip Gerard. Lydia Jane Gatnick. Larkin Anicia Gifford. Benjamin Ron Glicklick. It's hot. Zachary Flash Gordon. Brian Connolly Grant. William Fallon Grimes. Kaisa Lily Harrington. Arnev Harvey. Evan Paul Heath. David Bradford Hermanson. Caroline Rose Hody. Sophiette Grace Hong. Luke Ryan Hotra. Molly Jordan Hughes. Catherine Hannigan Jennings. Drew Johnstone. Brian Charles Kearns. Audrey Nayun Kim. Ava Dupre Coker. Oliver Wes Lamadou. Alexander Ryan Lee. Joanne Lee. Madeline May Shuhua Lee. Paul Lober. William Hilsinger Lowenguth. Justin Bradford Lowry. Una Nuria Lundgren Lahav. Ellie James Mabardi. Sophie Miles Majernik. Brooke Mary Manning. Kyle Alexandria Morristein. Grayson Hunt McClemens. William Nassau McLean. Haley Ann McSweeney. Akash Menon. Avery Wakefield Monahan. Natalie Charlotte Moore. Melanie Jeanette Morales Alvarez. Owen Timothy Myers. Zachary Clark Myers. Ava Cortez Neal. Claire Lorraine O'Connor. Chineye Jennifer Odenebo. Annie Elizabeth O'Keefe. Fiona Sarah O'Keefe. Om Pythanker. Riley Ujin Zeus Park. Lily Bagwell Penzone. Hannah Elizabeth Peters. Brianna Marie Pitta. Lara Elizabeth Poole. Nanieli Quiros. Octavia Helen Rior. Tancred Roy. Elise Christine Rupel. Henry Roth Salzman. Echo Sam. Emma Caroline Sanders. Lindsay Scott Saunders. Thomas Landon Schwartz. Madeline Bailey Scher. Tom Zachary Smee. William Henry Smith. Samuel Alexander Sukas. Caitlin Kelly Spielman. Skylar Tatiana Stadhart. Callum Monroe Hunter Stein. Olivia Marie Miron Sivo. Eleanor Owl Stolzoff. Gavin Price Swartz. Austin Thomas Tasca. Eliza Abigail Teplo. Christopher David Tillen. Widmeyer Tontayer. Matthew Walsh Tully. Brody Silver Upton. Charles Han Wang. Charlotte Sarah Ward. Madison Wee. Nathan Seth Wilderman. Caitlin Marie Willett. Tucker Thomas Winstanley. Olivia Woods. Minnie She. Alexander Henry Yee. Lauren Hampton Young. Dorothy Alice Zhang. Emily Zhang. Jacqueline Ren Zhang. Mimi Zhang. Eric Xingxian Zhou.
Please give another large round of applause for our incredible graduating class of 2023. As the senior class processes out of the tent, they will be welcomed into membership in the Graduates Association. After leaving the tent, the graduates will also partake in one of the great traditions at Nobles. They will be received and congratulated by their faculty, led by our most tenured faculty member, Mark Harrington. I am now honored to present to you the graduates of the class of 2023.